Hi, I'm Amanda. I'm doing an MA in creative writing.
A little life. She ran like a lamb in the green Rhondda hills, played in the streams and through bright yellow broom, the fragrance of vanilla from the flowers, the fluttering of birds. The milk was creamier then and clinked. She saved empty bottles of Corona for pennies for the pictures, played ball games and hopscotch, stood on her hands on the schoolyard gravel, had one doll and one book and a candle for bed. Calon Lan rose from the pub downstairs. The men with their coal eyes, the women in their pinnies cleaning the front step, the scent of lavender, the tiny body of her sister in an open casket. Her dad drank. They lost their home. Stayed in a tin shelter. It was hard to feed the children, keep them safe. Their shoes were already too small. Another baby would have been too much. Someone tried to help with inexperience and a knitting needle. My grandmother was butchered long before I was conceived. It seemed she was dressed in blooms like rosebay willow herb. The room full of dark pink petals. They were everywhere. My mother found the body, and the valleys dissolved like a painting in a rain of acetone. Mum trained to be a nurse, took a job in maternity, married and lived in poverty, their house condemned, the wrecking ball came. She was lonely on a new estate, 2 small children and no money. Took Valium and kept going. But I remember she taught us to pray, read us nursery rhymes and fairy tales, sang us Calon Lan. She built a house of cats and wool, and like us, their wages slowly grew. They travelled, sailed and cycled, swam in warm seas. When she became a nan, she could still skip and do handstands. She could juggle 3 balls in one hand. Her heart broke when my father died. She felt alone through COVID. All social doors were shut. Cancer came at a time of confusion, delays and queues. She saw a doctor in a pop-up tent. She would wait in the rain, sit in cold corridors, lie in A&E, shivering under a thin sheet. Every time they tried to find a vein or sink a needle or tell her the price of the medicine, they called her by her date of birth. Rounds of chemo, radiotherapy, removal of a kidney. Do you know what this is costing the NHS? 8 the 12th, 43. On the coffee table, a half-read book, a part-knitted scarf. District nurses come and bustle silently. She listens to the news about Ukraine and says, "Those poor people." She wants to help. She can't walk or feed herself. She sips from a plastic beaker slowly like a bird. She holds my hand and says, "I've led a little life, but it's been a happy one. Remember that." The Marie Curie nurses come when she's no longer conscious. She can't control her limbs. It's like washing a doll. But they speak to her with love. "It's okay, Wendy. We'll just turn you gently. Here we go. Is that okay? Let's make you comfortable. That's better. You look so pretty. Her frail frame smells of Nivea and Impulse body spray. Her new glasses are green with tiny stars. The church fills with friends and the scent of daffodils. Her little body is burned and returned to the heathers. But it pours. Red phone box in the rain. The clouds crowd close and winter darkness hides the world outside. I can no longer see the night. Just my blurred reflection, wet coat and hair, cold hands on the receiver. A few coins in my pocket. Baby on hip, red hair whipped up in windswept curls. Rain pounds against the glass, runs down in ragged rivulets, edges nearer, smacks the pain intense, relentless, pools and the pain grows heavy, about to crack. A dial tone, and my mother's voice pours into my ear. I close my eyes. I'm home, pouring milk from the red fridge. We put the world to rights over cups of tea till a milkman comes. The clinking bottles make us start, then laugh as we realise we've talked all night. Sunflowers blaze in the garden, cats wrap around my legs, books cover every surface. One lies open at her page. She's reading Humans by Matt Haig. A half-knitted scarf rests in a dome of wool in honey shades. Sun pours light through bright-stained glass, and ripples of colour trickle down the window. The baby babbles. The rain slows to a heartbeat, to a pitter-patter pulse, and suddenly stops. The connection is lost. Mumbles. Today the clouds are oyster grey. We used to measure time by the pendulum of rain, swinging bitter and persistent, clattering to cobbled streets, struck the steeple pooled around our feet, sky black as slate. We bent beneath the wind and weight, the falling storm like shattered tiles. It nearly had us licked, binding our clothes to skin, our hair like static string, the tempest racing to erase the slightness of our summer. I want to swim back to the sound from the shell, to the lap, the outbreath, the surge and ebb. I'm blown, moth brittle. Breeze from the sea shakes my hair, my toes sink into white grains, soft as sorbet. A bee hovers on pause. The percussion of the ocean drowns the craggle cry of gulls. A sea mist wraps the cliffs where I walked along the Gower, Rotherslade and Langland, days of sunburnt skin and lime-slade apple pie. Pebbled strolls to Brandy Cove, lying on grass in parks with a book, shield in my eyes, sequin skirt sparkling. Beneath the mirror ball at Cinderella's, we danced barefoot on tables, then ran to the sand, held hands into the waves waist deep, kissed long and hard in the dark bright waters, punch drunk on night. moonlit and alive to the tug that turns tides. The sea is dirty green. Translucent jellyfish lie beached, exposed. Hermit crabs scuttle in search, gulls screech and dive. The lighthouse failed to blink a warning. All that's left is emptiness and dust. I am a shucked clam. But this is where my little girl played, splashing in the fountain at the Lido, laughing on the swan boats, pushing coins in the penny falls. And if I shut out the new stores along the shore, I can still see my mum and dad, bronzed and smiling, cycling the seafront. Summer filters through the rocks and air and time. However hard it rains. Safe. On Llandilo Hill, I cradle a coffee in the gwylly. It's tranquil. My child is grown and flown. I've found a safe haven, a brief pause. Moments without pain are grains of sand. I've been a hermit crab, looking for the right fit. And this is it. I'm home. The waves sweep around my shell and nothing can hurt me. Sheep and cows and stillness beneath the ruins of a fortress. Carreg Kennan on its limestone crag. Where battles roared, red kites soar. Dragonflies flicker, blue-green flames circle the crescent moons of Oxbow Lakes. Shackled cattle led along Rosmine Street were brought in recompense for sins. Pale symbols, slow, white, cloud-like, curved horns, black eyes, nose to tail in droves like driven snow. Immaculate ring-bearers, seeking forgiveness. Crimes long forgotten. Histories lost beneath the roots of time and trees. Deep in the earth, ocean creatures swam to never fish, fossils in sandstone and shale. Fragments of another life. Feathers of Welsh princes, the shallow beat of surf. Bluebells flow, pouring over land of ice and graves. All grows and changes, crumbles and renews. Ash branches bend across the Towy. The arc of the bridge shimmers. Sedges and rushes, shingle grasses, tumbling houses, pastel shaded, stacked like colourful coral. Plovers and swifts, the curved neck of swans. Otters splash. The river ripples. Exhales Llanstephen's heavy swell. Reflections mottle, breaking up. I comb my hair against the tides as waters lap about my static rock. The horizon is a calm green sea, but the shore is coming.
Hi, my name's Catherine Evans. I'm doing an MA in English Literature with Creative Writing. I'm doing it part-time, and this is my first year. I don't really have a style of writing, and recently I've been experimenting with different forms of poetry. So here are two poems. The first is free verse, and the second you need to look at on the page. The Water Cycle. The air was full of words. I sat listening on the porch in the worn wicker chair, watched clots of ramblers walking. Plastic shoes slapped concrete, my gate kept them out. Laughter thrown over my fence landed near my feet, discarded like litter, while words oozed from their pores, dripped from skin onto dusty ground, congealed. Now the wild words fall from the sky, bring life and voice to the parched earth, wash the dried, dusty jokes, the sweat of yesterday. Insects dodge the deluge, tiny bodies trapped, bent into punctuation, swept away. Mingling below in the darkness, drains, the reservoir fills, pools, settles, large words hit bottom first, some sink, break, rest in the sediment. Lighter words flow through filters of sand, percolate, escape through pipes. I turn on the tap and drink. Poetry, the cause of rising sea levels. What rhymes with except, of course. Speaking of lines, let's end one wherever we see fit and leave a word naked and punctuation uncovered. Look at this space. Add a splash of alliteration, the oxymoron of onomatopoeia, a simile like a great white shark hunting through the page, escaping metaphor's harpoon. The language of language is unspeakable, the poetry of poetry is unfathomable. Climate change. Have you read this out loud?
Hi, I'm Isabel. I'm in my 3rd year and I'm studying creative writing at Cardiff Met. And this is my poem, May. I slowed down my walk because what was I really in a rush for? I always kept the pace to make sure I didn't get left behind, but now I'm choosing myself. So I'll walk in the early May sun and take in the smell of cut grass and warm air and watch the wood pigeon land on the cobbled wall. I'll smell burning wood smoke and I think about how I was happy to let you go. I am not in a rush. I never was. I was just catching up to myself. This is my poem, Primary School. We're forever running through fields in midday June sun, cartwheeling in blue and white checkers and collapsing in a pile of limbs. There is still that little girl, curled, dormant in your chest. Wake her up. And this is my poem, All the Times I Went Through to Heaven's Voicemail. Again, there's a trigger warning for OCD thoughts and a lot of thoughts pertaining to religion and scrupulosity OCD. Hi God, it's me again. I know I don't believe in you, but I got this little red pocket Bible today and suddenly I feel this sense of urgency that if I don't use it or convert, then I'm going to burn in hell. I'm only 9 and I don't want to burn in hell. I'm scared of hell. Hi God, it's me again. Amy and I are arguing and I really hope you'll smooth it out. It wasn't that big of a deal and it will probably naturally fizzle out. But when it clears up, I'll chalk it up to divine intervention and suddenly feel the need to worship. Hi God, me again. Bet you weren't expecting that, so some Texan people came in today, called themselves evangelical, told us how British food was bland, the country seemed so grey and asked if we converted to Christ yet. I took this very seriously and now I've got the overwhelming sense that something bad is going to happen if I don't find this little red pocket Bible. Can you help? Hi God, it's me again. I was just watching BuzzFeed Unsolved videos and I heard an Annalise Michael's exorcism recording and suddenly I can't actually say the word possessed. I woke up in a sweat believing that your arch enemy had slithered into my gut and it got so bad I'm here again on my knees begging you to take away all the parts of me that you apparently created. Hi God, you must be getting really sick of hearing from me again and again. When it's convenient, of course. I'm getting these horrific images of twisted bodies and mangled faces when I try to close my eyes. And there's this pandemic going on and I think it might kill my nan, so I just wondered if you can cleanse me or maybe do something about that. Hi God, I'm getting desperate here. I'm stumbling over the Lord's Prayer and trying to pick up a freezer to prove that my body isn't being taken over. The rules on this dodgy website I googled told me that's the sign of that word I can't say. Google also says that this is a disorder, but I just think it's our relationship, isn't it? Isn't it? Isn't it? Sorry, I couldn't get that out the way I needed. Hi God, if you actually want to fucking listen, I'm going to ask you to get down on your knees and you can turn around and pray to me. I hope it's a good one because I'm going to make the devil seem like a dream. Because how can I love you when you've decided to make it impossible to love myself? Hi God, me again. Just wondering when you'd like to beg for my forgiveness because hell will freeze over before I accept some half-hearted apology. If you made me, then I condemn you for the rest of my life, because, hi God, I can't carry on, because what if saying this means suddenly something bad will happen to me, and I'm sorry for my harsh tone. Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. I want to speak out of line, but the way you've made me, I won't raise my tongue against you again.
Hi, I'm Vienna and I'm going to read your poem, and I'm currently doing my MA in creative writing. This one's called Chasing My Ghost. You were beautiful once, a carefree pixie playing at life. We strolled through drunken fairy tales, perched on pavements, heels in hands flirting with the night. You painted yourself a sunset, the limbo between day and night. Now your makeup grows old, lies in a graveyard I keep in my bedside drawer, washed down with lament. I tried to get high, popped the foil from your tangerine eyes and swallowed them whole. I peeled the skin off your blood-red lips, bleached the peach from your cheeks, stripped you down to a chrysalis, a butterfly threatened with bone flashing white. I kept your clothes in a lucid dream, shimmering under disco-lid lights, waving their last goodbye. I never meant for you to die. This poem's called I'm Sorry for Your Loss. The world hums low, rhythms moving beneath, but my feet refuse the drum, skipping over the pavement cracks sinking into skin, and I'm sorry for your loss. Where are the wings sprouting from shoulder blades? I take you there myself, dancing into afterthoughts of my mother, grieving as if she's gone, but she's not gone. She's sat around the table, brimming with blank photo frames, waiting for memories, dinner on her lap. But the dish ran away with her spoon, and the fingers flitting through the skies, another unanswered call on hold, holding on, and I'm sorry for your loss. Life strains a smile to the world, exchanging vows, and sickness you will be my health, passing on the heirloom, a wooden rocking horse, jumping over the moon, but their face is the moon, and the moon is a paper cup between your hands, rippling the tides, pulling you closer and closer, and I'm sorry for your loss. Crushed under our twilight thumbs, we are ants carrying our mourning until morning finally comes, and then we dress, crooked ties, waterlogged shoes, drowning in tomorrow's guilt, saying the world will not wait. I will not wait. I'm sorry. I'm sorry for your loss. I'm sorry, I know. Doesn't quite cut it. This poem's called The Morning When We Died. Shrieking down the track, the dawn chorus cried. Mars' eyes bulging, this, the lantern of my plight. I feel nothing now but the dew dripping down my back, mouths thinning over the horizon, metal chirps ring cutting through crisp air. A ghostly hand reaching down, that was the morning we died. I am losing myself to this grass casket, blinking amber light. We were closer to the sun than we ever should have been, our fingers twisting fate, a promise snapped, seeping from the steam. Open the gate arm, let them come. I am treading water, clutching our last breath close to my chest. I feel its feathers start to tremble, shrieking down the track. The dawn chorus cried. That was the morning when we died.